Whatever your disposable income is, according to that you will spend according to your requirements, family size, and the circumstances in which you are. So you start buying goods and services according to your requirement. Savings, delaying consumption up to some extent, and that will make you save. Delaying consumption. Borrowing is essential because you take loan, sometimes you need money, sometimes your need is a small one, sometimes your need is a big one. So depending upon the level of requirement, you take loan, borrow money either from the commercial banks, or it can be done from different leasing companies. Maybe sometimes you borrow it from your friend. That is also borrowing. And there are certain things on which your spending will be dependent upon. Many times they have given this question that analyze the different factors which can influence the level of spending, levels of savings, and levels of borrowing. Even in the syllabus, if you see the guidance which is given in your syllabus is basically saying that the main factors which can influence these three, like spending, saving, and borrowing, includes the rate of interest, your level of income which you are earning, and the confidence of the households. When we say income, some people are skillful, so their earnings may be high, or they already got a lot of money, assets from their family side, and because of that they are just multiplying the money, whatever they have. Some people are skillful, as I told you, they will get higher wages. So higher wages means more income. Sometimes it also depends that if you are working more hours, your income will be more. Maybe you are working in a profitable sector, then your income is more. The profession in which you are have a higher demand as compared to supply, then your income will be higher. And likewise, if you reverse all this, you will have a lesser income. Then rate of interest. People borrow more when the rate of interest is low. And of course, sometimes that borrowing they are going to spend in the economy for goods and services, sometimes they use it for investment. So rate of interest, what is the rate of interest? The rate of interest is the rate at which the money is lent or borrowed. So if the rate of interest is low, your borrowing will increase in the economy. Yes. In an economy. So the rate of interest basically telling you the rate at the percentage at which you are going to lend money or borrow money. Confidence is a key factor. If you are confident that you will have the same job, the job will be getting better all the time, then you are going to spend more. But if you have a fear that you will be losing your job, maybe it's just a temporary thing, you are not confident. Even about the economy, you are not very confident. Then you are going to save more. And that is a precautionary measure. Sometimes savings is done on the basis of, in order to meet the future needs, precautionary measure. And sometimes savings is done to get something big. For example, you want to buy a car, you want to buy a big house, for example. Then for that purpose, you will save a higher amount of money. But savings also depending upon the rate of interest. When the rate of interest is high, then the savings will increase because you are getting a higher return on it. But the rate of interest, when the rate of interest is high, borrowing will be less. That will be a problem. Yes, for children's education. So you have different motives for spending, savings, and borrowing. And this will lead to your actions. For example, a person may cut down its consumption of goods and services right now presently at a higher rate. Why? Because he's thinking about getting something big for his family. Maybe the education of their children. They want to send them abroad, very high fees, and because of that, they have to save right now. Another thing, it is 3.3 workers in your syllabus, and it includes the things related to the labor force. For example, why do people work? What are their motivations for working? Why they prefer some specific jobs? Why do they prefer some specific sectors? Why do they try to work more hours? Why do they work lesser hours? All this is studied in workers, including the role of the some role of the trade unions as well, and the minimum wage legislation. It means that the role of the government will also be important over here. Sometimes the labor markets have certain problems. For example, labor is not getting the right working conditions. Their safety and security is at stake, for example. Then, even then, the government role will be very important. So, we go one by one. Wages and salaries. Wages are generally given to the blue collar workers who are involved in manual work. Wages. Salaries are given to the white collar workers, for example, the teachers, accountants, and economists, and also the doctors who are working for a hospital, for example. Wages can be daily wages, weekly wages,
monthly,
and it can be monthly as well. Salaries are generally given on monthly basis, but it can be on weekly. But generalization, if we do, then we say that they are paid on
Then in
monthly
the
basis.
question is what is wages, so we'll write a monthly also.
So, if you have to define wage, you say that the reward of working, of giving services or making certain goods and services for a firm. You are engaged in the production activity and you are giving your physical and mental effort to that particular firm. In return, you are getting wages. When the people decide that which occupation they should join, they think about the wage factors and they also think about the non-wage factors. The wage factors which are given in your book are basically related to the wage factors: salaries, wages, commission, bonuses,
overtime
pay. All these things are considered as the wage factors, and of course, maybe very substantial. These factors, these wage factors, are more important for some people, but some of the people don't think these factors are really important. For them, the non-wage factors are important.
fringe
For
benefits.
example, how many holidays you are getting in a profession. Many people can join teaching just for the reason that there are many holidays, breaks available to the teachers. Then many of them will consider a non-wage factor job satisfaction. Job satisfaction may be the key factor, because if you work in the field of your interest, you will always be successful. You will always be healthy also mentally, because you are doing something which is interests you. That is, maybe you have a great skill in doing that particular job, having good enough skills for that. And type of work, some people would like to have a challenging job. Some people would like to work in a very safe environment, same routine type of a work. So it depends. That is also basically a non-wage factor type of work. Then working hours. Again, I would give the example of teaching that people generally think that the working hours of teaching, working in a school, for example, or college, university is different. That there are not enough working hours we have to put in. But as you know that in Pakistan, most probably, Pakistan is one country where there is a huge culture of taking tuitions. So the teachers are also involved in giving the coaching classes. So there, if you count their working hours, it's a huge one. So sometimes as a non-wage factor, you consider the working hours is important for you because you need time to socialize with others. Maybe you have a big family, you have to take care of them. And other than that, another non-wage factor will be the fringe benefits. For example, a driver is provided to you for commuting. Job security is important because some of the sectors may be growing right now but doesn't have a future as strong as they are doing right now. So that is also considered as a non-wage factor, job security.
The education of children.
That is a fringe benefit which you get
Healthcare
at
benefits.
ticket.
Healthcare benefits.
Healthcare benefits, all these things will be there. Okay. Then reasons for differences in earnings, that is wage differentials. Why the wages are different? The best answer can be we have to look at the demand and supply of the workers in that profession. For example, the demand of workers in a profession, in a particular sector is more than the supply, then the wages will be higher in that particular profession. And because of that, there is a difference between the wages. If you see right now, there is the people who are related to media right now in Pakistan, they are earning a lot. Why? Because there is a huge demand for people who can conduct a show, for example, a news show maybe. So there is a huge demand for it. So the difference in wages will of course be there if they are working for for the media industry, and some people who are working, let's say, in the information technology right now. Wages will be high in media as compared to the information technology because the demand, just an example, the demand for the media people is comparatively high and there may be a lesser supply of graduates who have done their education in media. Another factor which we can consider is whether you are linked with a strong trade union or not. If you are linked with a strong trade union, chances are that you are going to get higher wages because they have more collective bargaining power. Means that they can negotiate things well with the producer. Another thing which can be important is the sector in which you are working, whether it is growing, whether it is stable, whether it is declining, the industry in which you are working, that is all important. The level of experience, that will also be a wage differential. Why? Because if you are experienced, chances are that you will get a higher wage as compared to the other people who are just joining the industry. They are fresh. Not compulsory, but generally we can say that. Another thing which is important, it also depends on your position in an organization. If you are really important for an organization doing certain strategic work, decision making, then you will be earning higher incomes. Whether you are skilled or unskilled, that is also level of education, and also the X factor means that how talented you are in that profession or in that job in which you are working. that will also be a wage differential.
Sir, fringe benefits.
Fringe benefits will be a non-wage factor, but over here you can say that the overall wage of a person, earning of a person may be increased because of the fringe benefits given to him. So that is also can be considered as a wage differential factor.